There we go. Hello, man. How are you? Nice having you here in this podcast. Very happy that you accepted. We've been
Yeah.
talking for few years since pandemic, and we share some kind of like-minded projects. Vegan thing development, and so it's very good to have someone like you to share your experiences. So, kind of do your intro about yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Wagner. And yeah, I mean, pleasure to be here. I actually didn't know you were doing podcasts now, but I think it really fits alongside all the project that you have been doing, the social media, everything around not only veganism, but as you said, design, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
a big part that we both share, and
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, would love to dive deeper into that. But yeah, hello everyone. My name is Eugenio, and yeah, I know Wagner since the pandemic, as he just mentioned, and we have connected over vegan projects that we were working on and we are still working on. And yeah, I'm a senior product designer and also self-proclaimed web developer and front-end developer. Um, yeah, nothing much. I have been vegan for 8 years now. So yeah, so far so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, 8 years. I think it's around the same time I am. So you live in Berlin, right? Germany. And
Yeah, yeah,
uh, tell us where you originally from and what made you come to Germany.
yeah. Well, yeah. Long story short, I guess. So I'm from Argentina originally. So I was born there in Patagonia, the south of Argentina. Um, what brought me to Berlin in particular was I have an identical twin brother,
All
and
right.
he found, I don't know if you knew that, but you might be talking with him right now, but no. Um, anyways, he founded a startup with a colleague of his from Germany, and
Mm.
they founded it in Berlin. So, back then I was traveling, I was on holidays. I did this New Zealand working visa back then. So I spent there like 1.5 years, more or less, and then I went to travel around, Southeast Asia,
Yeah.
India, and so on. And when my brother was founding the company with his colleague, then I told him like, hey, when you found a company in Berlin, I will go and help you build up the company. So that's what basically brought me. So yeah, he ended up founding the company, and as I promised, I went to Berlin and joined them into this journey.
What his area? Your brother's area.
He's a CTO.
CTO.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Very cool. So how about this project? Is still going on?
It is still going on. He's not like an active worker of the company anymore, but he's
Yeah.
still a shareholder.
All right.
The project is still working, and it was back then one of the fastest growing startups in Europe. So it was like mentioned in like the top
Oh wow.
100, and I
That's
mean
very cool.
it deserved it because I mean it's about fulfillment. So back then. There was a lot of issues between people doing their e-commerce to sell products online and having the opportunity to ship them. So a certain point when a lot of people were purchasing from a product, right? I mean, if you start an e-commerce, let's say you start shipping the products yourself, but
Yeah.
once it becomes, I don't know, like
Yeah.
1,000 products, then
Yeah.
first of all you need a lot of space for you to store the
To-
products in your home, the packing, the pick, the
yeah.
shipping and
All the
everything,
logistic.
all the
And
logistics. Exactly. So what this startup was doing is kind of bridging the gap between e-commerce websites, and smaller companies,
yeah.
e-commerce companies, and the shipping. So we had this software that my brother built that connected the e-commerce website with the warehouse software. So you would keep the stock
Yeah.
up to date, and they would ship all of the products to our warehouses, and we would
All right.
keep track of the order. So someone ordering their website, we received immediately the order on the warehouse, and we have people there picking and packing and shipping. And yeah,
Very
so
cool, man.
yeah, it was really really cool.
And are you part of this project still, or you're
No, no,
kind
I'm
of?
I'm not part anymore. I was there for like 2 years. It was extremely hard, like to build a company from the ground up. I mean,
You did the
countless.
design and all everything, like
Yes,
visual identity and etc.
visual identity, website, marketing campaigns. All the papers, designs for anything basically. So yeah, for printing material,
Yeah,
digital. I coded the website. I also was involved in coding a bit of the front end of the actual product, and everything basically. Also, like around Christmas and the Mother's Day,
yeah.
I went to the warehouse to work as a picking and packing
Doing
because
everything,
yeah, doing
yeah.
everything, right? I mean, we were
From
like very
coding
very,
to
yeah,
yeah,
everything. So it was very very exhausting, and also not for much, let's say, at least monetary reward. It
yeah.
was an amazing experience. I learned about
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of things. But yeah, after 2 years, I was kind of ready to move on and experience other things and kind of yeah, move on to other projects. So that's what
totally.
what happened.
So you kept yourself in Germany and you found something else to
Yeah,
do. How about the vegan thing? It came when you moved to Berlin or before in Argentina?
that's a good question. No, it came in Berlin. It came in Berlin. Um, I have had kind of the idea of doing something about veganism, right? On the one hand, like I was, discovering all this information by myself, right?
Right.
And then I had kind of the need because it was so niche, right? I mean, no one knew a lot of things about what I was talking about. And like, hey, have you seen this XYZ? These documentaries or whatever. And people, it's like, no, no, whatever. Or they had kind of wrong ideas of something. So I had the idea of, like, making a project to put all that information together in a very concise, short way, where in what website you can find all of the
Yeah.
typical vegan information. So yeah, it came in Berlin.
So it came together when you had the idea to make the website about this. What was the process like? You became vegan and then you wanted to share. Then you wanted to create a website about this, or you wanted to share things that you've been learning about vegan, and then you start to create a website, and then you became vegan. Which
Yeah,
one was first?
I first became vegan,
Right.
um, and I honestly, at the beginning, was because of the environment. I have watched like this conspiracy documentary, and also What the Health,
Yeah.
about the health and the environment, and I was like very much into like recycling stuff and so on in New Zealand. And then I started looking at the numbers of, like, I don't know, like the waste and water and all of that. I was like, actually the greatest
Yes.
thing that I
Impressive.
can do for yeah, for recycling. I mean, recycling is doing very little. So I went kind of vegan overnight. Like, I went to the fridge, threw away all the non-vegan food, and the next day I went, it was like, let's say, a Sunday night. So I threw away everything, and the next day I went to like a big supermarket, and I tried to get all vegan stuff.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, that's how it started. And at the beginning, it was nothing about like preaching veganism or talking about it and whatever, right? It took maybe 1 or 2 years to kind of
To learn properly.
yeah, learn the things. And also in Berlin, I joined this Anonymous for the
Right.
voiceless group,
Yeah.
and we also did a visit to this one slaughterhouse in Germany and so on. I mean, all of these experiences were
Yeah.
really, really
Very.
hard.
So you were one of those activist
Yeah.
guys going in front of McDonald's showing footage of where
Yeah, well, I that one,
slaughterhouse.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like that kind of person, but yeah, of course, I was like going in the streets and doing all these events with
Yeah.
the with this group, and talking with
Yeah.
people in the street, and
That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
trying to, and that kind of got me the idea, right, of like creating this website and trying to inform people, and yeah, it's out there for free. It's a free website,
Yeah.
anyone can go and
That's
read.
i- is that the five vegan one or another
Yeah,
one?
yeah, 5vegan.org.
Yeah. It's a very cool website, man. It's good that you use your skills as developer and graphic designer, and you did a really good job there.
Yeah, true. Actually, I mean, you were also very similar into that because you were doing at the time the vegan jobs, and I think I found you
Vegan,
there.
yeah,
Right?
or the vegan check. I was working two
Yeah,
projects
yeah.
at the moment. It's similar to what happened to you because I it was back 2016 when I first moved to Ireland, and I was looking for a product because I was already vegan in Brazil.
Sorry,
And
2016 or
16 when I went
nice. Okay.
2016 or 17 when I first started. No, 2017 is when I created Vegan Check, but 2016 is when I moved to Ireland, and I was looking
Ah,
for
mhm,
products that I didn't know where to buy because in Brazil I knew where to buy everything that I was using, like from toothpaste or all the foods. I know
mhm.
where to buy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I came here to Ireland, I didn't know uh, if I want to buy some cereal. I didn't know if that cereal would be vegan or not, or toothpaste if they would be vegan or not. And then I was wondering, what if there is a app where I can check what is vegan or not? And by that time, there wasn't any type of app regarding this, because I've done like a big researching, trying to find something similar, and there wasn't. There was some websites, but not. Today, you can find some similar approach as the vegan check, but I would say pretty sure I was the first one coming up with that idea of the having an app to check if the product is vegan or not. Uh, but
Yeah, that's actually really
yeah,
cool. Yeah. I remember also like you have the chance of like as a user upload, if you have found, let's say, a vegan
yeah,
product or something, you can upload, so then you actually users can feed the database, let's say, from
yeah,
different places basically.
yeah, yeah. That's the idea.
Yeah.
It worked for a while. I had like over 3,000 downloaded, like
Wow.
iOS and Android together. But the thing is, I was trying to be a startup. I didn't find any person to join me as a app developer, and
Mm.
when because we've been you were part of a startup, so we need more than you can't do everything by yourself.
No,
So
at some point,
that's
yeah,
where I got
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, that's where I got struggling on making this app happen. But I'm still working on the vegan jobs. This one I have more control because it's website based.
Yeah.
I don't need knowledge in app development. That's
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah. That's really
What
cool.
what projects are you now? I saw you're working with creating plugins for Figma, and
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the company
You
I
are all
work,
over the place.
yeah, like I was using XD, and then XD is
Yeah.
gone,
Same.
and then
Same.
I had to start learning Figma. So how is that? You create plugins for Figma? Is that one of your developers side projects?
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, Yeah, I started that creating plugins for Figma basically. I mean, and that's like I really learned a lot more about like app development with like
Yeah,
web technologies, or nowadays it's kind of,
yeah,
if you use like React and React JS, like, or TypeScript and so on, like, you can do an app, or you can do a website, or doesn't matter really. So that really helped me a lot. And yeah, I mean, I actually started, so I as you're right, I was using Adobe XD in like in the previous company I was working on. Then I started on a new company, on the current company I am working on right now, and they were using Figma, and I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, of course I have heard of Figma, but then from using it full time to design your screens and everything, right, it was a bit of a learning curve at the
yeah.
beginning. But once I learned, I was like, man, I should have used this all along, because the relation between like designing in Figma using auto layout and so on is very similar to how one would code a website nowadays, and the components and the properties and so on. So yeah, one time I actually created a file for the community. I didn't even know about the community. They have
It's
this
huge
marketplace.
community.
It's huge community, and from the Figma software, like, you have to go to your profile and then click community or something. So it's like, I don't know, I never, because I started using Figma, like when I joined this company, I was like, whatever,
Yeah,
and suddenly I was like, oh, you can actually publish like a file, like. So then I was like, oh, cool, I will publish a file. I mean, I don't know. So I created this, back then, I don't know, I was doing like a website for a customer or something, and I needed tech stack icons, like, for example, the icon of React JS, or the icon of
yeah,
like HTML, the icon of CSS, whatever, right? The company logos of like technologies.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. Because I was going to websites to search for it, or Google Images or whatever, and I needed the SVG to work with a vector file, hopefully. And I was doing all of that. I was like, oh, I will go to Figma community. Maybe they have already, someone created one.
Yeah,
And I searched, and there was nothing. So I was like,
right.
oh my god, like, if Figma doesn't have this, okay. So I
Yeah, how
created this
come?
file. Yeah, how come? I created a file, and I started to put together SVG icons of tech stacks, right? Whatever, React, Bootstrap, all this stuff. And I published it, and suddenly it started getting a lot of duplications, duplicates and
All
views and
right.
likes and so on. Yeah, now it's like around 10K people that had duplicated the file.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
Very
that's kind
helpful.
of, yeah, it's very helpful. And that's how kind of it started to bring a lot of views, and this file is for free out there. And yeah, then I got invited by the Figma community to kind of sell either files or plugins or widgets, whatever, to be kind of a seller, right, in the
Right.
Figma platform. It's by invite only, and it seems like if you get like popular views or something in a product, then you kind of get the
All
chance
right.
to make a file or something that you can actually sell. So it's a marketplace, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so then I again, I didn't have experience with plugins, and every time you start a new file in Figma, you have to set up the structure of the pages, like on the cover page, and then create a new page called, I don't know, user flow. And
Yeah. Okay.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, every file is empty. So I created
Structure.
yeah, I created my first plugin, very very simple, called Page Genius. Basically, you click a button, and then it creates a whole template file for you and sets a cover image. And that's also
Awesome.
is for free. But yeah,
Awesome.
between that and the free file, I started kind of getting a lot of users. So then I was like, oh, cool. There's a lot of opportunity here to build a lot of plugins to simplify the designers' problems sometimes, right? So yeah, I kind of started. Now I have like more than 10 plugins.
That's cool. Are you already in the marketplace to being able to get money or not yet? It
Yeah,
depends on. All right,
I
that's
I mean,
cool.
of course, yeah, it's not something very much to, but it's kind of
I
exciting
know.
to
Yeah, it is. It
yeah,
is. Uh,
yeah,
it's good to collaborate with the community because we always get advantage by someone as well that created some app, some plugin that's very useful.
yeah, totally.
And I
Yeah,
see you had I saw the other day I downloaded the one that makes table, which is very useful as well. That's
yeah,
awesome. Very good job.
yeah.
I will put on description so everyone can download and check your
Cool,
work.
thanks. Yeah, please feel free also to leave your comments, or also give me your feedback as well. I mean, I always like to improve them, and that's something that I wish like Figma community does a little better work of like trying to connect the users with your plugins in a way that I can receive more feedback. Sometimes
Yeah.
people
All right.
feel don't feel like dropping a comment maybe, or
Yeah.
I like to listen what the feedback is, like whether
Yeah.
it's useful or not, or if there's a feature or something that they are looking forward to have
Yeah.
or something. But yeah.
Maybe they should make it more visible, more pushing the user to comment.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Maybe as a private message to the creator at least. Maybe, if they don't want to make their comment public, maybe,
yeah.
although they
Yeah.
they can write an email as well, like
Yeah. That's cool.
um
So
yeah.
everyone who downloads the plugin, do you have their uh, do you save their email or something like that? Can you have access to everyone who
No.
got
No.
your okay?
No, unless you develop a feature within the plugin, so the user has
Okay,
to log in or sign up or something like that, or kind of consent to it, or give your email. I didn't do that for my plugins, but because it's like everything is more development anyways, and there are
nice.
some amazing, insanely huge Figma plugins. Like it's a whole tool inside of a plugin. I mean, some of those
It's very
are
complex.
yeah, they're incredible. Mines are kind of trying to be simple and solving like big problems in a
Yeah.
simple way, very very simple.
Yeah. How's the process to create those plugins? Like, what type of knowledge do you need? I know design for sure because you do the design of stuff, but interfaces. But is there any programming that you need to create that?
Um,
Whoever wants to go
yeah,
to this business, like, okay, I want to create plugins. What's the
yeah. I mean,
process?
is there any like web technology? It's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's
All
all it
right.
is. Yeah, it's like any like when you do Chrome extensions, for example,
Hmm.
or right, it's the same. Yes, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. That's web technologies. That's how you create them. And then on top of that, you can put up abstraction layers like TypeScript, React, or any framework that you want, whatever, that in the end it will create just plain HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's all it is. I mean, the Page Genius, my first one was like really simple. It was like a HTML page, good old old school HTML, CSS, and that's it. And then the obviously the Figma plugin API, but I think they have pretty well documented API. Also, they have a forum if you have any questions, or Discord, and yeah.
Yeah. What's the most plugin that you use or recommend? Like, what's what type of work are you doing at the moment? Softwares, websites, or depends?
Well, at the moment, I mean, I'm mainly doing like user experience flows. To be honest, I mean,
Right.
it's a lot of more.
Wireframes type of
Yeah,
researching.
exactly, kind of like that. I think you have a lot of more experience onto that. I'm coming more from like user interface design, but I mean I have learned a lot about UX. But also like I do side projects and a lot of like web design and things like that. I personally don't use many plugins.
Yeah.
That's
You
the
like to
truth.
create then. You
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
use
I like to create them. Yeah. So yeah, I create, I create things, and when I find out like, oh, I need an easy way to create, I don't know, something. Okay, I
Yeah,
build a plugin to create that. But maybe for me, it will be a one time, right? But
yeah,
maybe there's a lot of other people that also need it for one time, or whatever. Or
yeah,
maybe what's my one time, maybe for someone else is actually every day they need to do that, and they don't
yeah.
find a way to do it.
Totally.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah, yeah,
right.
that's true. Like
Yeah. I mean,
probably there are few that they're very common, like those that creates generates avatar, which is very useful when
yeah.
you need some faces, real people
Exactly.
faces.
Yeah, or the random name generator or
Yeah,
things like that.
Lauren Ibsen as well.
Yeah,
That's
lorem
useful.
ipsum.
I use a lot.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And yeah, like the company I work, they are starting to asking us for move to Figma. At the moment, we use Azure. Do you know this?
I know, but I haven't used it ever.
Yeah, I came from Adobe XD in the previous company,
Hmm.
and then I was, when you feel lazy to learn a new tool, and then you feel like, okay, I'm very comfortable with XD. I don't want to learn anything else. And then
Yeah,
XD was gone, and the company I work was using Azure. And yeah, but I'm missing Adobe XD. They had a lot of cool things. But the thing I like on Figma is not that different approach, you know. And
yeah.
what happened to Adobe? They bought Figma, and now I think they gave up of buying it.
True. Yeah, yeah. I really don't know what happened actually, but yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it was
Adobe,
quite a bit of money, and yeah, like 20 billion or something. I mean, I don't know.
crazy.
Yeah,
I like Adobe is funny because they have a lot of very cool features, tools, but when it goes to UX, I don't know what happens. There is always other companies that are kind of better, or the market prefers.
yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. At the moment, I mean, I would say Figma is the tool, right? I mean, it seems that when it was Adobe XD, for example, and then before that was like Sketch or
Yeah,
InVision and Zeppelin and all of those, right? It
yeah,
seems that every year there was a new tool until kind of Figma more or less came out, I guess. I mean, or at least Figma started gaining a lot of popularity.
yeah,
And there is Figma, but also there's like Framer, for example, also on the side, which I haven't never used, but I think they are very powerful tools, and I'm not sure why Figma is very much preferred actually around.
yeah.
It's very popular, and
It's funny how the market is regarding UX tools. There's always a top one. It's never a balance. It's never like
yeah,
there are three or four that are the same. It's always there's the top one that before was Sketch, and then all the rest. And
yeah,
now it's
yeah,
Figma, and now all the rest.
yeah,
It's never balanced.
yeah, and Figma is missing a lot of. No tool is perfect. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of features that you can do in Sketch that you can't do in Figma, and or some vector manipulation that you still kind of obviously use like Illustrator for more complex vectors and
yeah,
stuff. So yeah, it's not perfect, but somehow it really does a good job for what it's meant to, like designing products and websites.
yeah,
I think it has a really good connection on how one design in Figma
yeah,
to then translate it into code. I mean, because I do both things, suddenly I find that connection very very interesting, and I have developed plugins that converts a Figma design to code as well because of the
yeah,
same reason, right? I mean, and I would say even like for I don't know if companies are doing it so, but um, doing like specific plugins for specific things that you would do within your company. For example, if you're working in
All
a,
right.
yeah, if you're working in a company, let's say, I don't know, they work with a lot of data. It's not my case, but we do work with a lot of data. But I'm like making an example of, like, if you have to do a lot of designs with tables,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
example, definitely a plugin that builds tables is going to be very useful. I don't do many tables, but the problem is that when I have to do a table, it's such a pain to build a table from zero, that, I mean, I might as well, put the plugin, do the table, and that's it. And but yeah, I mean, I think if open Figma, because it's open like that, then if there's something that Figma cannot do, then someone will do a plugin to
Yeah.
make it work. So, and that keeps the users in Figma, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, Figma cannot do it, but oh, there's a plugin that can do it. Okay, then I stay in Figma. It's kind of.
Yeah. Totally. I think that's this one of the secrets of Figma. The community is very
Mm,
helpful, it's very supportive,
yeah, yeah,
and they know the language. It's like it's not made by someone else. It's made by developers like us,
yeah, yeah,
designers like us.
yeah.
So that's they find the pain we have,
Mm,
and that's why it's a very rich tool.
true.
How is the markets in Berlin, man? The design, graphic design, digital design. What's the story now? Because uh, we hear stories around layoffs, etc. What's going on in Berlin, Germany? Like, give us some idea of what's going on in the
Yeah, I
market.
mean, when are you coming, Wagner? That's the
I
question.
That's the question. Yeah,
That's the question.
I'm planning. Berlin is the top of list that
It
a
is.
place I wanna go. I went to Austria last year.
Okay, close,
Uh,
close
was
enough.
close, almost, man, almost,
Almost
almost
there.
there.
Almost there.
But yeah, for sure, man. I always say whenever people ask me where I wanna go,
Man,
I
like, I
always
mean,
mention
I
Berlin.
yeah, I mean, I also I have it in my to do, like, go to Ireland as well, because I've never been. But I mean, Berlin is like the vegan paradise, man. Like, I mean, is you should
Totally.
come. I mean, it's just, it's insane. Like, it's really really cool. And yeah, in terms of like work environment and so on, so there's a lot of companies there, and startups. I think that hasn't stopped. Like, so I think around tech, there's a lot of work in Berlin. And yeah, designers, engineers, all of
Yeah,
that,
developers, etc. IT.
developers, IT, design, a lot of design too. Where developers are, there's
Yeah.
also UI
You
UX.
mean you mean printing? What about printing stuff? Like a traditional graphic designer.
I think that there is still a lot of that. I mean, I personally, I kind of moved out from that, like printing and graphic
Yeah.
design, but
Yeah.
there is still a lot of like marketing companies and so on, that they create like really good, like publicity and things like that.
Nice. Do you use Germany there? Do you speak Germany? German.
Nine, nine.
Nine.
No,
Is
English,
it-
English, yeah. In Berlin, I think
uh,
like most of the people speak English, and there's no problem with that. And
no
yeah,
problem.
yeah, and also like the companies mainly, they're like very multicultural. So there's
All right.
English is kind of the language to
Is
speak
the
there.
is the main language English in your company?
In my company, yes, like
Yeah.
in most of the companies that I have worked on, yeah,
All right.
yeah, English is the language.
It's funny.
Yeah,
It's funny. I didn't know. Like, so if I go to an IT company in Berlin,
yeah, English, 100%.
it's English. All right.
English. Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially for tech. I mean, if you work like in sales,
Yeah.
they might ask you, of course,
All right. Yeah.
you have to speak the local language, right? Plus English, right? But if IT really is not, is English, 100%.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. No, yeah, it is on my plans. I will let you know once I decide.
Yeah. Also, you can speak Portuguese as well with me, or with
Oh yeah, you
I
do
have
understand.
also Brazilian colleagues. They are everywhere. Like we are all everywhere. So the companies are very. They have like I don't know people from all parts of the world. So
Are there more vegans in your company, or are you the only one?
man, I think like everywhere there's where are the vegans, like we are the minority, I would say, like no matter where you are is the
Yeah,
minority. So
yeah.
yeah, it's a minority, but I mean the company I work at like is really nice, vegan friendly in the food and all the
Oh
things,
yeah,
so yeah, it's really nice.
that's cool. I don't know anybody. Are you in the company I work? I don't know any vegan. Uh, what I was gonna ask you?
But yeah, I mean, maybe if you come over to Berlin, I mean, obviously ping me and let's
Oh
meet.
yeah, for sure.
Right now, at the moment, I'm not in Berlin, though. I'm in Spain at the moment.
Are you in Spain?
Yeah,
Ah, that's what I
in
was gonna ask you. Are you working remotely or
right, okay, yeah. I mean
hybrid?
that's the answer basically.
All right,
Yeah, I
perfect.
mean, it's hybrid, right? I mean, usually I'm in Berlin, right? I mean, I live there, and the office is like 20 minutes away by bike, and
Okay,
I love biking, and but usually I go like let's say 2 times, 3 times to the office a week. So yeah, it's kind of hybrid, and when there's like company events or things like that, also like to meet with the team, I go to
that's
the
cool.
office. Yeah, and yeah, but now I'm working remotely from Spain.
Yeah, that's something I want to be able to do it more regularly. To be able to work from anywhere, like
Yeah,
Thailand, Japan, Brazil.
that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and do you usually work from home or the office?
Yeah, I'm working from home. The office here, uh, but the UX team are all around the globe. We
Hmm.
have few people in India. The US are the most UX people I work with.
Wow. So the meeting, like the online meetings and so
Yeah,
on, like
yeah,
are
yeah. But there are three UX guys who lives in Galway where I live now, and sometimes we go to the office. Just to at least once a month we are going
mhm.
uh, because we don't have to. It's good to go and meet some people that we talk every day. That some developers are
Yeah,
still
yeah,
going to the
definitely.
office, so we
Hmm.
pick a day and go and meet everyone in person.
Yeah,
It's funny
yeah, that's
to we
great.
like most of the time I'm talking to them, writing, texting, or phone calls, and then when we go to the office we see person to person. It's different, and it's better when you see the person uh, in real life because you kind of understand the person better when you write to that person. Because when you're texting someone that you never saw in person, it's hard to understand their what they're asking or the way they talk. And then once you see the person, you kind of get their character. It's a
Yeah,
good
true.
go.
Yeah, that is so true.
I will share your stuff on the description of the video. Is there any other projects that you're working at the moment that would you like to show?
Oh man, I mean, I'm working in so many projects at the same time. So,
Side
but
projects, or
yeah, yeah, yeah. Side projects, side
are there
projects.
any vegan related?
No, the only vegan related is Five Vegan, and yeah, the others are not. But I've been working a lot in this Plus UI design.
Yeah.
Um, which is like a brand that I created to share some free UI designs that I used to make. Actually, they were done with Adobe XD. So I mean, you can also, if you still use Adobe XD, you can go and download. If not, I think they are also like, so they are compatible with Sketch,
Okay.
and at a certain point with Figma, I think if it can be like used.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, that's Plus UI design. And
Yeah.
yeah, some of them are paid. I also created like a bundle where you can like purchase all of them, so you purchase kind of the source file and of all of them in the pricing page. So yeah, if not, then yeah, there's free files you
Yeah.
can
A lot
download,
of
and they are the source files. Yeah, a lot of
You're
them.
great, man. A lot of projects here. A lot of files to download.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's mainly directed to people who wants to learn design, or sometimes
Yeah.
it's hard to understand, oh, how did this
Yeah.
designer do this or do that shadow or this effect
Yeah.
or blah blah blah. So you can download and say, investigate, oh cool, it's done like this way, or even reuse it, right? You change the colors, change the image, and then you
Yeah.
have a ready-made design.
Good
um
job here, man. When you showed me this website like years back, I would say uh, there wasn't that many files as I see now. So good
yeah,
progress.
yeah, I've been doing a bunch. But yeah, other than that, I'm also working on a side project of a fitness community. Although
Right.
it's not like a vegan fitness community, at least I push for vegan stuff. But it's basically like a Discord community where people can talk about fitness and things like that. It's a Spanish community, so it's based in Spain. Um,
That's cool. Show me whenever you have it ready to share.
Yeah, I mean, I have the website. You can check it out. It's clipping.fit. Um, I shared on the chat.
Okay.
But I mean, you can check it on your own time,
Oh yeah,
and
I
anyone
will.
interested,
I
yeah,
will.
they can check it out. Um, yeah,
Nice
and
man.
then
You do a great job like creating all those projects.
thank you.
Very
Yeah,
active in the community.
I am very active. Yeah, I mean, and especially like in the past time, I have been posting a lot of these plugins on Figma community, and I have like a backlog of ideas and plugins that I am working on. And it's so much work because per plugin I also publish it on Product Hunt, which is this website where you
Yeah,
publish a product and so on.
yeah.
And also I create like a small landing page website for the plugin. So it's not just the plugin, it's a lot of things that goes around the plugin, and also like sharing it on social media. And I have subscribers in Plus UI Design. So I send a weekly email with the latest plugins that I made and so on. So yeah,
That's
it's a lot of work that goes around those plugins and websites and whatnot. Plus having like a full time job, I mean, it's quite a lot sometimes,
oh
to
yeah.
be honest.
It's like I feel kind of the same. I'm always trying to create some side projects other than the one that I work the most, which is not my main. It's not my own project. But I feel like I need
Right.
to be creating things. I was with the vegan check and then it didn't work and then I have the vegan jobs. Uh, Even if I don't make money, but I like to be productive and helpful for the community. So I think the same feeling you have is sure that if we can make money with that, that's perfect. But we're still doing our job by helping community, offering free stuff and information. So good job.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, at some point, obviously, there is on my interest, to help the community out there, but also I'm, hopefully some of these interactions with the community will, give me some support back, and hopefully, some earnings too to survive and so on. Although I have a full-time job, but like I think I I definitely would love to put more of my time into my personal projects, but
Yeah,
there's always that balance, right? I mean, right now I do like Monday to Friday, 8 hours in full-time job basically,
yeah,
and the rest of the time I put on my personal project. So I kind of wonder what happens if I would do the other way around, kind of full time
yeah,
on these side
yeah,
projects,
yeah.
but and then a little bit of work that actually it's paid work, maybe freelance. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. That's my dream as well, to be able to
That's
focus
cool.
on all my side projects properly, because sometimes we just feel lazy, after 8 hours working, and then
Yeah,
you do have a project like this podcast. I have to be always looking for people to participate and creating all the shorts edition
yeah, yeah,
stuff
yeah. It
to
takes so much time,
take
hours.
too
I
much
mean,
time.
yeah, yeah.
But
I
I'm
mean,
but I'm enjoying. It takes a lot of hours, but it's fun. It's helpful. People
yeah,
enjoy it as well. So
definitely.
that's the goal.
What's the website, and when did you start doing the podcasts?
The idea came like 3 years ago. Me and
Hmm.
my friend, he lives in Canada. He's Brazilian. He lives in Canada. He works in IT as well. But just last year, when you have that idea that you never do it, you just have the idea. So
Yeah,
we always had the idea, oh, let's do a podcast online so we can talk to people. Sometimes it's me and him with someone, sometimes just me, sometimes just him. It's open. So what happened is, uh, last year was like, I have that idea to make this podcast, but I was like, what? I'm gonna create the domain. I will buy the domain. It always starting by buying the domain.
that's how it
Whenever,
started, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
because
true.
whatever idea I have, I need to create the domain. Otherwise, I won't start. So I create the domain that pushes me to start working in the idea. So and then I create the logo, and then I try to find. I try to go through all the design process by creating the visual identity. So I wanted, because it's a podcast, it's online, it's not in person. So I wanted to bring the visual identity to this channel, to this product, to make it more close, to create some identity. Because I see some online podcasts which they don't change the background. They
Hmm.
use those basic, uh, like, I'm using StreamYard, which is free, but the free version they have the logo, their logo instead of my personal logo. You see the one in the corner. So when
Yeah,
you have the full application, you're able to do some customization to your product. So I wanted to create that atmosphere of that you are into a studio, uh, have some identity. So it was great to go through this process of creating the logo and the idea, the visual identity, because these days I'm just doing user journeys, wireframes, and I'm missing creating my own stuff as well.
yeah, yeah. True. I mean, yeah, I totally get you. Like, I mean, it's especially like starting a new project, right? I mean, I think one has in the back of the head like all the things that have to be done to make it happen,
Oh
and that
yeah,
I think sometimes that is like what's preventing one
Yeah.
to actually do the
Yeah.
thing, because
Yeah.
all the shit that has to go
Yeah.
through, like the
Yeah.
domain, the name, logo, or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Build
Yeah.
a whole brand, maybe code the website, or whoever knows, like depending the skills of, maybe,
Yeah.
warp, do I do it in WordPress, it's just like
So many
having the
things to
whole,
think.
so many things. Maybe then the social media, okay, like the social media profiles, maybe the email, the social media,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's so many things, right? And
Yeah.
oftentimes, I think what I have found very helpful, so, Five Vegan, for example, is huge. It's a huge website. It's I get contacted by brands that they want to appear on, the listing or things like that, or in the book section, and so on. It's so big, that website. Then I have Plus UI Design. It's also huge. It has, so many designs and pages and so on. And what I found out is that it's good to start, easy and simple, like as simple as you can, like an idea. Like if you have an idea, then do the minimal. That's, the typical MVP, like the minimum
Yeah.
viable product. And and then and then get out of, from there you kind of start building, like for example the plugins. The first version of the, I was like, hey, I do a plugin very simple, maybe it's super badly made, the code is horrible. It's just, very simple, whatever, okay, it's out there. I was like, whatever, it's out there. But suddenly, people start using it, or they give you feedback, whatever. It's like, oh, you know cool, maybe I need to put more time into this because people are interested.
Yeah.
So, first kind of do the minimal thing. If you see that the thing is going, okay, maybe you put more time. But otherwise, it's just, one gets stuck into the whole idea, and
Yeah.
maybe
Totally. That's a
finding
good
the
advice.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Some days also you have more inspiration than others. Some days it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm doing
Yeah.
a lot of things, and other
Yeah.
days it's like,
Yeah.
it's like nothing makes sense. I mean, whatever.
Totally, man. It's funny. It took 2 years to put me here and start and create the logo, etc. But once I decided to do it, I did it in 1 week.
I imagine.
So,
Yeah,
but took me 2 years to do something that I did in a week.
yeah,
But
yeah,
because we're struggling on those things as well, it's a lot of things to go through that
yeah, yeah. It's
push
a
us
lot of
off.
things. Yeah, something that helped me, for example, to make like a big project, like for example, Five Vegan. The first version of Five Vegan was literally one landing page, very,
Uh,
very basic, and an email input, and people can subscribe, and that's it. Then I would send an email.
oh
That,
yeah, I
that
remember.
or,
Then you would send 5 tips
yeah,
of yeah,
five vegan articles, whatever. That
or
was it. That
recipes.
was
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, and then it took me 1 year. So, there's a friend of mine that suggested me, like, hey, because I had in the back of my head such a big project, but it was too much to confront, right? So it's like, hey, maybe, open up a note and start writing down things. For example, I don't know, the menu items. Okay,
yeah,
maybe I want recipes, maybe a blog, maybe, just.
yeah.
And I started writing down. It took me 1 year of writing down things. So I haven't, I did the very basic landing page, and then in 1 year I was just collecting ideas and putting them, all of them, in this one document.
Right.
After a year, I have collected everything I think I wanted, and then it took me not that much to actually build the project, because I have already the structure, what I wanted, what I needed, what not. So, that's also helpful to start a new project. It's like, if it's too overwhelming, then starting writing down the main things that you
Yeah,
want, and suddenly your brain, after nights of sleep,
yeah,
then suddenly one day your brain kind of puts all together, and then that's why, then, oh, Is in 1 week it's done because it's
Yeah,
organized in the head.
totally. And you don't realize that you're doing that in the background. It's kind of a
Yeah,
brainstorm that's going
yes,
on
yeah,
in
yeah,
your
yeah,
in the
yeah,
background. And
totally.
then yeah, that's very
And
cool.
then
That's
one day makes sense. Maybe
one day makes
it's
sense.
one day the
Totally.
things just align and it happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the background it happens, and yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need to give up, just relax, write down, like you said, do it the basic of the basic and start slowly. And eventually things will start happening. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it sometimes we start something that's without any motivation, and the motivation can come over the time. The more you focus, you see the app growing, and then you start to get more motivation. It's all about motivation, like I'm working this project now. Tomorrow I can have a new one, you know and you as well. I'm sure you have a few things going on, and
yeah,
there will come more,
yeah.
you
Excited
know
for that, and in the meantime, enjoying the process. And yeah, kind of it's nice to see to do different things and see which one work, which ones don't, and
yeah.
they are all learnings for the next one,
Totally.
basically.
Totally. Man, we are near an hour, so I'm gonna end. And thank you so much for your Sunday time here. How's
Thank
the
you,
weather in
Wagner.
Berlin? It's snowing or something?
Well, I'm in Spain, and
Oh,
that's
you're
one of the
Spain. I
yeah,
forgot, man.
but that
Sorry.
that's one of the reasons I kind of
Yeah,
came to Spain, because
yeah.
there it's definitely not sunny like here.
A
Right
stupid
now it's
question. I can see the sunlight in your
yeah,
back.
right now, well, it's around 20 degrees, so which
All
in
right.
Berlin right now, I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to know. It's too cold.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Too cold.
Yeah, too cold.
Nice.
But
Where are
yeah,
you in Spain?
in the south, close to Cadiz.
Okay.
If you come down, feel free to ping me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I basically I go to Spain every year because my cousin he lives there. He lives in Valencia.
Well, I mean, like last year, I went to Valencia, and I have
Yeah,
some colleagues also like living there, and
yeah,
it's like from where I am now, it's like 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
very cool country. That's the place I would like to spend a few months for sure. He's always
Perfect.
asking me to do it. I will do it one day.
That's it. Do it.
Nice. And what else? I will let you know once I have this video ready to go.
Okay.
And I will finish this episode by put the music again, and then I stop recording. And thanks so much again, man. Very
Thank you
helpful.
for the invitation, and I think we could speak for more hours, definitely,
Oh
especially
yeah,
because we haven't been talking in such a while. But
totally.
and
Let's do it more. Recording or not, let's do it more.
I think so. I think so. Let's catch up, and I also want to know, more about like the projects you're doing, or the podcast as well, and see,
Cool.
um,
Yeah.
maybe we
If you
can
have,
do a follow up.
yeah, if you have any suggestion for person to be participating here, please feel free to show.
All right.
Let me
Yeah,
know.
definitely. I will definitely share. I have already some in mind that might be interested. So
That's cool.
yeah.
That's cool. All right. So if you are watching this, we have already 1 million followers. And if you're watching, subscribe.
Please subscribe. Yeah, definitely like the video, and
Yeah, I never say that, but that's the first time I will start doing that because everyone does. So maybe it helps.
I think so. Yeah,
You know.
definitely.
All right. Thank you so much, man. We keep in touch.
All
See
right.
you, everyone watching here.